progressive development of bioprinted organs for medical application may be the largest global notion in medicine. Bioprinted organs may provide humans with immense biological, ethical and social benefits. These include resolving the global organ shortage, eliminating the need for immunosuppressive medication, developing new drug screening methods and developing personalised medication. However, the use of bioprinted organs accompanies complications and risk factors, including ethical dilemmas, religious objection, the requirements and complex anatomy of organs, and also the risk of medical error. It is questionable whether the medical application of bioprinted organs would actually be a favourable alternative to conventional organ transplantation, medical research and drug development methods. In terms of the use of bioprinted organs for transplantation, the most promising and valuable benefit would be the ability for organ rejection to be obviated, and therefore no requirement for immunosuppressive medication. Former postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Adelaide, Dr. Fiona Thompson, conducted medical research in immunophysiology and states in an interview that specifically using an individual's own pluripotent stem cells obtained from cord blood or bone marrow as the building blocks for the organ would eliminate the need for immunosuppressive medication. Organ rejection occurs as a result of the body's immune system recognizing the organ as non-self, or in other words, foreign matter, and attempting to eradicate it. This occurs when organs are transplanted that have cells which contain different proteins to the individuals. Hence, transplanting an organ constructed from another individual's cells, such as using others' embryonic stem cells, would biologically be equal to ordinary donated organ transplants in terms of the benefits. Of course, if an individual's own cells are used, the proteins would be consistent with the host. As a consequence of organ rejection, recipients are required to take risky, lifelong immunosuppressive medications. This medication prevents the natural function of one's immune system, and as a result makes them highly vulnerable to disease and illness, including the formation of cancerous cells. Although an individual may receive benefits from the normal or increased functionality of the organ from a donated organ transplant, new issues and concerns likely outweigh the benefits. A recipient that receives a bioprinted organ transplant specifically consisted of their own differentiated pluripotent stem cells would not experience organ rejection and therefore not require immunosuppressive medication. It can evidently be deemed that this technology would be highly beneficial in regards to a recipient's future health and well-being. Using bioprinted organs for transplantation can also mitigate the challenges of low organ donation. Vladimir Mironov, surgeon, founder and CEO of cardiovascular tissue engineering, said that recent shortages of organs could be the most significant practical reason for investing in tissue engineering technologies. He also suggests that manufacturing organs from a patient's own cells is probably the most promising approach for solving the urgent shortages of human donated organs. Approximately 1,400 people are on the Australian organ transplantation waiting list, but only 503 deceased organ donations and 267 living organ donations were recorded in Australia in 2016. People on the organ transplant list can wait between 6 months to 4 years. As a result, many die due to organ failure or associated complications. Around 20 people die each day in the United States due to the long wait to obtain a new organ. Many people intentionally choose to not donate their organs, or their families object to the expressed intentions of donation after death. Statistics show that in Australia and the UK, 40% of families of deceased eligible donors refuse the donation of their organs, despite the deceased individual's intentions to donate. This means an unreliable supply of organs. Making the donation of viable organs compulsory would be unethical, as it would impose against people's will. It will also change the psychology or moral of the act, as donated organs would no longer be a thoughtful deed, but rather a dreadful must. Hence, doing so is not the best approach for reducing the organ shortage. If bioprinting technology were in practice in hospitals worldwide, individuals would be able to obtain a new fully functioning organ within days. They could get their pluripotent stem cells obtained or developed by a medical professional, wait for them to be differentiated, and then printed into a fully functional organ ready for transplantation. This once again conveys medical application of bioprinted organs as being beneficial. Bioprinted organs would also benefit medical research and drug development. By utilising patient tissue, it may be possible to rapidly screen new potential therapeutic drugs, greatly reducing cost and time, compared to current drug testing methods. Judah Folkman, a cancer researcher who developed the theory of angiogenesis, that a blood supply is required for tumour growth, predicted that eventually it will be possible to grow complex organ tissues, including tumour tissue, outside of an organism, and analyse responses to anti-tumour drugs. This idea of testing effectivity of drugs is already in practice at Organovo, an early-stage medical laboratory and research company which designs and develops functional, three-dimensional human tissue for medical research and therapeutic applications. Here, scientists are developing strips of printed liver tissue for this purpose that can remain fully functional for up to 28 days. They suggest that this technology will soon be advanced enough to be utilised for screening complex new drug treatments. This technology may also be applied for developing personalised medication that is customised based on one's medical profile and screen response to therapeutic medication. This method of developing personalised medicine is in practice at the Precision Incorporation of Pittsburgh. Here they are growing tumour cells in plastic dishes from patient stem cells to allow the simultaneous testing of several anti-tumour drugs. If bioprinting was utilised for this process instead of scaffold-grown organ tissue, it would be a more efficient and reliable process due to the several advantages of bioprinting organs compared to growing them. For example, precise cell placement, high digital control of speed, resolution, cell concentration, drop volume, and control over the diameter of the printed cells. In addition, this procedure of screening new drug treatments would dramatically reduce the need for screening processes that are often viewed as being unethical, such as with live human subjects or animal experimentation, as an analysis of the bioprinted tissue would be done instead. This offers a clear example of how bioprinting organs could allow medication to be optimized and personalized, without doing any harm or raising ethical problems. Contrary to the benefits, transplanting bioprinted organs can lead to poor outcomes. Regan McRae, medical researcher with a PhD in chemistry and biochemistry, suggests bioprinting technology will have ethical and social implications which accompany its use. She expresses the possible idea of bioprinted organ transplants, challenging the idea of an organism and meaning of being human, as a human being is often described as being fully natural. Bioprinted organs do not meet the definition of natural, hence ethical questions are expected to arise as to whether recipients are still human or perhaps have a decreased level of humanness. Technology critic Jeremy Rifkin also supports Regan's opinions, stating that in order to justify the engineering of living material across biological boundaries, it is first necessary to challenge the idea of an organism as an identifiable, discrete being with a permanent set of attributes. Questions also arise as to whether bioprinting organs would object against religions. Bioprinting organs may be considered sacrilegious, as it is believed to have theological inadequacy, in other words, lacking the consideration of religious views. Although there is this issue of religious objection, it is unlikely to affect medical application, considering we already accept desacralizing invasiveness in the human body, for example from the use of cadavers in medical schools. If bioprinted organs were to progress towards medical application, it would be necessary to ensure that ethical debate and issues do not surpass the benefits. Organs have several requirements and their anatomy is highly complex. For this reason, the precise placement of multiple cell types is required to construct thick and complex organs and enable the correct functionality and survival in an individual's body. When the thickness of the engineered tissue surpasses 150 to 200 micrometers, it exceeds the limitation for oxygen diffusion between host and transplanted tissue. Hence, for the bioprinting of complex organs such as hearts, livers and kidneys, vascular systems are necessary to be integrated into the organ, as they cannot maintain metabolic functions without vascularization provided through blood vessels. Vasculature enables the vital supply of oxygen, nutrients, growth factor and removal of waste product. Biotechnicians have had difficulties in printing blood vessels and supporting tissue simultaneously and in a way that would allow the organ to survive, says Anthony Atala, director of the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine. Hence it would first be necessary for biotechnicians to develop the ability to integrate vasculature and microvasculature systems before biotechnology further progresses towards medical application. This development is expected to not be too long away. A collaboration of academic institutions including the University of Sydney, Harvard University, Stanford University and Massachusetts Institute of Technology has successfully developed a bioprinting functional perfusible network of capillaries, which is a huge milestone in overcoming this complication and progressing this technology. A minor error in the development of the bioprinted organ can result in large biological complications in the recipient and introduce ethical issues. The differentiation of cells used to construct the organ is absolutely vital, and it is highly important no cells are left undifferentiated into the specific cell type required prior to the organ being transplanted. Determining the differentiation of cells requires recognition of the appearance, for example whether it looks like the desired cell type and what genes activate it, and also the behaviour of the cell, for example a cardiac cell, which is a heart cell, will contract and relax. When an undifferentiated cell or a complex of undifferentiated cells are transplanted into a living subject, it will form a tumour known as a teratoma. Of course, medical error resulting in the formation of a tumour in a recipient will raise serious ethical concern. This chance of tumour formation is not present in donated organ transplants, as there is no need for the cell differentiation process. If bioprinted organs are in medical practice, the risk of faulty cell differentiation would need to be overcome. If bioprinted organs were developed for medical purposes, it would no doubt provide humans with immense benefits. These include resolving the global organ shortage, eliminating the need for immunosuppressive medication, developing new drug screening methods, and developing personalised medication. However, there are still obstacles to progressing to medical application. Given the current state of bioprinted organs, it would first be necessary to overcome the inability to produce complex vascularized organs, minimise risk factors such as faulty cell differentiation, and ensure that ethical implications and influences are taken into account. If these complications were overcome, it can overall be concluded that the development of bioprinted organs would be medically beneficial to a great extent.